Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Movie Club, where this episode we are talking about Superman.
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 Do you know what you've seen? Have you seen Superman 2? The 81 or 80 whatever that year.
Maybe.
That's what I'm pulling it from. Is that that's how Zod says on there. He goes Superman.
Yeah.
But yes, we're not here to talk about the 70s and 80s Superman. We are here to talk about the 2025 James Gunn film, which has to put. It's funny. James Gunn is I was thinking about this, his career is this very interesting. He just became the superhero guy.
At a certain point, yeah, it was just like, hey, we've got a superhero movie, and we've been kind of failing at it.
I'm gonna say the thing which I think is James Gunn career became what I think Joss Whedon career wishes he became. It became.
Well, didn't Joss have a thing?
No. But I mean, you think about Joss Whedon, especially early Marvel, was the Avengers, became the guy who would fix superhero stuff, or even Justice League, they try to bring him in to fix stuff. It's funny if he was the fixer guy. Well, James Gunn, I feel is the I need the kind of comedic, safe super guy who makes a decent enough film. That is James Gunn at this point. He is the I need superhero film. I need it to make okay money. I know the guy to call.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is didn't Joss have something come down?
He's something, but I thought Joss Whedon was one of the ones that it seemed like he was creepy but in douche. Wasn't he the more, or did he do things? I forget.
I thought he may have done things.
We're gonna see how wrong I was on the Joss Whedon. He did something good guy either way. I just remember what his actual accusation was. Because some people during that era were very much you did something, and others were you were just inappropriate, broadly speaking.
Yeah. Joss Whedon had a rocket strapped to him, and then all of a sudden it was you never heard from him.
Yeah, it was very much he was the guy. What was his accusation? Ray Fisher. Oh, that was it. Ray Fisher was accusing him of stuff on Justice League. Is that the last we heard of him?
No, I feel it was way before that, because James Gunn took over because Joss Whedon. I feel that's what happened, right?
It looks like Gal Gadot accused him of some stuff. It does look like it's one of those he's been. It doesn't. I at least have not found an exact accusation. It looks like the accusations that I'm skimming while we're recording this is he did a bunch of sketchy things that are inappropriate, but it doesn't look like he did the rape level. Nothing good, but it does. You know what I mean? There's a wide variety when we say that someone did bad things and what this means.
Yeah, there's levels to this of
Yeah. It can all be bad, and there's levels in the bad.
Yeah.
But either way, we are here to talk about 2025's Superman, which is the first film, which is the start of the brand new DC universe.
And didn't Gunn come out and say Bat is not part of this?
Correct. Bat is not part of it. When I say the first film, is because Creature Commandos has come out, which is canon, even though it's an animated series and stars the voice actors of the correct characters. For example, and Creature Commandos has Rick Flag Sr., who you see in this film, and it's the same actor. So that is the first pure canon, and the other one is some of Peacemaker season 1. Literally just Google it. Some of season 1 of Peacemaker is canon, and some is not. So that's what's existed kind of out there for the DCU so far.
Yeah, I just I more made that point to be hey, remember, this is the Superman, and this is potentially the start of the Justice League.
Yes.
But we are not going to have Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne.
Right, unless something fundamentally changes, this is entirely correct.
So, that's more.
It's kind of it's like how we live in a weird world where Batman or Superman, Warner offered Christian Bale a shit ton of money. So it's not impossible that will change. But as of today, when we are reviewing this or looking at this film, Bat is an entirely different universe.
And I would imagine they stick by that.
I would think, especially you have someone like Matt Reeves in charge of Batman, where it's not you have a random guy at this point in charge of it.
Yeah, you've got Batman 2, you've got I thought there was going to be a Catwoman series.
I think they at least talked about it. Yeah.
You had the Penguin.
Yeah. I think anything that is like its own thing unless it gets told otherwise to us.
So, like, whatever their Batman is, we're not going to see it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to at least get Batman 2 out. And I guess I can't remember if they've said anything about the Catwoman stuff or not.
I think those are rumors. I don't know if that's been like confirmed or
that, I don't believe there's going to be a season 2 of Penguin. I think they were kind of open about that, even though it did pretty well. So, but yeah, I mean, if this is the direction that the DCU is going to go, it feels a little bit more like this Superman feels like when you see those early Superman comic books,
mm-hmm.
It feels like a modern interpretation of that look, at least. Right?
Yeah, let's get into it. I'd say that's kind of a good starting point. Is like James Gunn talked about this film being inspired by that one very famous Superman comic with and it's interesting because it's kind of like a lot of golden age inspiration. You kind of see a lot of things. Like this film in a lot of ways is very much like, and I read this and I actually it wasn't I kind of stealing this, but like it's a true thing I read. It's like this film in a lot of ways took the ideals of the 70s film but just threw it into today. And I think that's like a very clean way to call it. Of like, it's still this like, you look back, go, here's this optimistic like what we think Superman should be, but like we found a way to like make it make sense and not just be this cartoony, corny like, oh shucks, like it's 50s Superman again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess part of me wants DC to be the dark one. Because
no, that's a fair.
You think about like the movies that have come out of DC before this. Thinking about like Batfleck and Justice League and the Chris Nolan trilogy, like it's been dark.
Mm-hmm.
Man of Steel, like it's been a pretty dark and like realistic, like superheroes don't always save the day, or they're not always the good guys. And to have DC take on their kind of original or golden age feel is going to take some time.
And that's going to be a very interesting kind of, do they keep that kind of feel going of that? Like, because you're right, it's a very different thing. But like I was reading stuff today of like apparently like he's doing interviews of like James Gunn talking about how like each of these products is just going to fundamentally feel different. Like it is how like, comic books kind of work, right? Of like these could both be DC, but they could feel very different. But like, how do you explain it to a film audience? That's my question.
That's the problem, right? Like that's kind of what you had to applaud Marvel was they found an interpretation of the character and
and just kind of ran with it throughout stuff.
A version of that character, and that was that Iron Man, that was that Thor, that was whatever. Like it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna take this version and then they're gonna be that version, but we have to introduce this character because we're telling this story, but that's a different Superman, but we're bringing that baddie into this story, and it's like, just tell a storyline.
Like this one, this is a very much like, it's interesting to me how they find this balance of like, sure, you need to be introduced who Superman is, but you know who Superman is, just kind of run with it.
I don't know
Which are-
why we need to keep like we don't need a Batman origin story.
Right.
That being said, the opening of the Batman is awesome.
But that's a good example of like sure it's an origin story, but you find a way to just be like, we got this in our lifetime. We don't need this again.
Yeah.
To the same, at least the same version of that story. Like Superman,
like that also
we don't need him
doesn't say,
growing
like,
up.
hey, you know, his parents were killed and he saw it. That wasn't part of that. It was literally like,
Right.
this was Bruce Wayne becoming Batman, kind of
No, that's
in front of our eyes, and they handle it pretty well in this. Of like, yeah, no, he's Clark Kent. Like, everybody knows that. You know, it treats the audience with some respect, which is important.
Yes. No, and it's interesting. And I'd be curious, kind of, is this a Gunn is doing because this is Superman, or do you think I'm curious if this is going to be how he's like going to treat these characters, like broadly speaking? Because like here's the other thing that doesn't get talked enough too is like Superman, like in a lot of ways, that and Batman is the face of DC, right? Depending who you are or whatever. But Superman is like DC is a global hero. Superman, if you look at it, is an American hero that the rest of the world kind of knows.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna be curious, kind of too, of like, because like especially now, like go back to this, maybe just care about like you care about global audience and stuff, and like Superman isn't historically like a global. It's kind of like how Captain America is an American hero, and there's Iron Man's the global one, kind of from a Marvel point of view. Like
Yeah.
certain things just do better in certain markets, or more geared toward it, and like it's interesting to me that like we are going with Superman, which in a lot of ways is that versus kind of like a hero that would translate probably a lot cleaner.
Yeah, and especially the version that they're portraying of like he's quote unquote an American, but we're treating him as an alien. He doesn't represent a nation, even though his actions may be benefiting those in Metropolis mainly. You know, he's willing to go around the world. And, which, by the way, can we just talk about how the dude that they had for the fucking, what was the country? Where he was just like, here is Albert Einstein if he was Soviet and just is drunk. Like, that was hilarious. I've seen people talk about how like, oh, this is you know, James Gunn is bringing Benjamin Netanyahu like into, that's who he wants to represent. That's not true. I have heard that maybe it's kind of a dig
but like
at the
this
first PM of Israel, but
this is one of those where like I'm gonna be honest here. When you hear, the political stuff was totally an online thing. If you watch this film in the abstract, it's objectively at least a stretch, or like maybe it was inspired by that stuff. It is not a one-to-one. Like,
no, I mean if you go in, you can see why.
You go, but it's totally one of those like if you go in looking for it, yes, you will find it. This is not an announcement to anyone in public being like, if you thought this wasn't political before you walk in, you're not going to notice it. Like,
yeah, and
this is called
really,
you walked in wanting to see it.
That character isn't important.
Yeah,
like they just need generic bad guy to tell the story. It really doesn't matter. It's just that's kind of the one going on right now. But yeah, I mean, to your point of James Gunn kind of treating the audience with respect, I kind of like that we didn't get a full in-depth of like who Hawkgirl or Mr. Terrific or Green Lantern is. Like,
hear me out. This did what Black Adam wanted to.
Yeah.
Give us a side level of characters that, like, sure, maybe we have questions for in the future, but like, oh, they're just cool enough. We're good.
So, speaking of Hawkgirl, I saw her and I'm like, I know her. You know how broken my brain can get.
Yes.
What do you think? What role of hers do you think I pegged her as?
Isabella Marquette. Alien Romulus?
No,
That'd be the easy one.
no, there's an easier one than that, but
Well, last supposed to be the easy one. Oh, what the fuck? I'm looking through this, seeing what'd you get for her. What the hell?
I mean, if you know me, there's a very obvious one.
Amazing Race Canada.
No.
That would be the obvious one, knowing you.
She
was Dora?
She did the voice for Dora, I think.
Yeah. Sicario.
Yeah.
What is she? Who the hell
She's
is
the
this
girl.
race?
She's the daughter of the cartel leader.
I didn't even process that.
And I was like, shit, that's who she is. And then I looked and I'm like, oh yeah, also she was Dina from The Last of Us, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's the one I would get. That's what I'm looking at, like, oh, Amazing Race. That seems like a you.
I like watching Amazing Race from time to time. No, but I was like, that's the girl from Sicario. What's she been doing?
What's she been doing?
You idiot. You just watched an entire show with her in it.
What's she been doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's kind of jump through, I'd say, kind of the main cast here of the Superman adventures. First, obviously, we have David Cornsweet as Clark Kent, aka Kal-El, aka Superman.
Superman.
How did you feel of him as his portrayal of the Krypton's last son?
It's perfect, right? Like,
Yeah.
he is, you need somebody that is the all-American, like, now, granted, he's not supposed to be an American, he's an alien, I get that.
But like, yeah.
Like, when you think of, New York, and you romanticize those journalists at the big paper, who do you picture? A nice looking dude, like, he fits that bill exactly. And yeah, I think he fits that bill exactly.
He is, I would argue, I would argue he is the best since Reeves, or at least the movie Superman, of like being both Clark Kent and Superman and making them believable as two distinct characters.
Yeah, because he's not that big.
Yeah.
So, like, Clark Kent's kind of supposed to be your everyman. Right? You're not supposed to suspect that he could be Superman. So when you have somebody like Henry Cavill, who's built like a brick shithouse.
Yeah, no, it's harder to like blend into that role. I like him as Superman. Henry Cavill as like Clark Kent, who can't do anything. I do not believe is a believable figure. like that was my problem with him. Henry Cavill as Superman, I think, is a very different Superman in this, but I think a strong Superman. Where like David Cornsweet actually like plays both roles. They feel like different roles. It doesn't feel like he's just taking glasses on and off and calling it a day.
Yeah.
So, Lois Lane, I think, obviously is with Rachel Brosnahan, is someone who I think it's interesting. I genuinely think James Gunn got Lois Lane and Clark Kent correct, like without a question in my head.
Yeah.
Watching these films.
Yeah, they look like a great couple together. Like, it's evidence that, hey, you could build something with this, right? It's not just, potentially one and done kind of thing, right? Like, so.
And then the villain of the film is the star of the show, I would argue here, in Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. This is the best Lex portrayal we've had, right?
I might argue that What's the dude from Two and a Half Men?
The oh, he
Did it
was
on,
Lex.
I think Smallville.
Yeah. The yeah.
Yeah, like just piece of shit, like cocky dude. He did a pretty good job. I don't know. To me, when if you were to ask me, like, describe the perfect Lex Luthor, it's not too dissimilar to a bald Michael Fassbender.
Which is really what this guy went for.
Yeah.
And Nicholas Hoult has directly said as much, I think, is like he went for a bald. Like he went for it, Rosenbaum kind of thing.
Like, that's who I would picture, right? Like, to me, Lex Luthor is an intimidating figure. Or you go the Michael Cera route, right? And you just lean into him being a nerd.
Not Michael Cera, you mean Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah. But I was more going, like, Jesse Eisenberg's almost a little too masculine to go kind of the direction I was thinking. Like, Jesse's not a great Lex. He's not nerdy enough. Right? Like, you need somebody that's either super nerdy and then builds into Lex. Right? Or you need somebody that is just intimidating and then through his mass wealth is able to, you know, generate the knowledge. So I think, like, if this is going to be the DCU theme of Golden Era Superman and kind of intimidating figure Lex Luthor rather than ultra nerd Lex Luthor, I'm interested to see where it goes.
I'm very interested to see where all of this goes. I'm trying to think of anything else stands out. I always see. It sounds like we're both recommending, by the way. Go see this damn film in theaters.
Yeah.
Trying to think what stands out to me. What was your kind of take of like Nathan Fillion as like Guy Gardner? Right, obviously he's a Green. That's a version of Green Lantern I don't think we've ever seen on the screen. Guy Gardner has been. He has not been in anything live. I didn't think so. Yeah, he's been in, like some animated stuff.
Yeah. I think the costume design really makes you hate him, and that's perfect because that character
hair
is kind of a piece of shit. Like, you know, like, and they address that pretty early on, right? Like, the Justice Gang is about just getting the job done.
Right.
They don't necessarily care if everyone makes it out safe.
It is interesting to me how they did Justice, like this whole Justice Gang kind of thing for this intro.
Yeah. Also, can we just admit Cleveland is the perfect city to shoot stuff in?
Is that where most of this was filmed?
I believe so, yeah.
That's
because, like, the Hall of Justice is their Union Station, I believe.
I didn't even process that. It was.
Dude, it says 2 trains. Like,
that's fair.
I believe it's the Cleveland Union Station. It's like an Art Deco masterpiece. Art Deco. I'll just look up Art Deco stations because I remember seeing it in its Art Deco stations. Since they use Cincinnati's, believe it's Cincinnati or Omaha. Yeah, they use the Cincinnati Union Terminal. Like, I get why they filmed this in Ohio.
Yeah, no,
it's cheap.
It's cheap. It still kind of has that, like, especially when you get like the generic, like, all-American look. I think Ohio's probably a good state where you can probably geographically get a lot of variety of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty quickly.
You've got Cleveland right on the lake. You've got Cincinnati, which is right on the river. You've got Columbus, which is a giant college town.
Right.
Like,
you can still get farm really easily within miles of any of these places. Like,
yeah, you know, you've got Akron, which is going to be kind of a old America, right? Like, Detroit's gone through too much of a renovation to use that as old America.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary is too dangerous. So you've got Akron, right? Like, if I'm Ohio, I don't know what their tax situation is in terms of film credits. I'm doing everything I can to give tax breaks to productions in Ohio. Because as soon as people find out that, like, dude, the Hall of Justice is the Cincinnati Union Station.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is tourism around movie locations, right? Like, granted, in Hollywood, you know, in LA, it's a little easier to do because there's so much stuff there. But, you know, it's like in Cleveland alone, right? Like, there's the house from A Christmas Story. There's, you know, some stuff around there that, like, they used some of Cleveland for Dark Knight Rises. You know, they used Progressive Field in this movie, in Superman. You know, like, it's just take your pick, right? Like, so, yeah, it was cool to see.
No, that is very true.
Also,
no,
it just highlights how beautiful Art Deco is and how far we've strayed from the path.
How far we've fallen.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like, modern American architecture is cool. Right, there's certainly there is a little bit of a vibe of, like, it's art, you don't know what art is at times.
Mm-hmm.
But then you look at some stuff and you like, oh, this is modern materials and this is what we can do. And that's awesome. And then you go look at Art Deco stuff, like the Chrysler Building, and you're like, or the Empire State Building. And you're like, damn, like, there's just something romantic about the Art Deco style.
Which is funny because, like, Metropolis is totally supposed to be New York.
Yeah.
It's funny because, like, it's interesting because, like, I agree with you conceptually, like, this was our pick, but, like, it's funny because, like, we both are of the opinion we shouldn't use the really big city that we have.
Yeah.
But I think this is what we're kind of talking about, how this film does the, like, it's modern, but it fits an old-timey. Like, and I think that setting helps. Like, New York City might look too modern.
Yeah, no, isn't Gotham supposed to be New York? Like,
no, well, Gotham's supposed to be Jersey, but
I mean, they literally, that's why like, how many things in New York are called Gotham because of...
Right. Yeah. But, like, that's the whole shtick of, like, that's why it's fun, the whole Batman Superman thing where, like, they're across the river because it's Jersey City versus New York City, basically.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, no, this is Superman. Came out very recently. It has already at least literally made its money back at the box office. So we'll see now. I'm assuming this film will at least be profitable. Like, I don't see a world where this film truly flops to no money.
This movie's a Billy.
No. You had a 232 opening weekend. I don't think it's a Billy. And you're not gonna this won't perform well in China to begin with, and B, it already got pulled from most Chinese screens for other films.
Yeah.
Like, just being honest, like it made like
Yeah,
it
no,
made
I'm
good,
just-
it's good money, but I don't think it's gonna be a Billy. I think this if this shines. What's that? 232 right now. Do you think it might make 600 mil? Do you think?
It should.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm assuming next week. I think what we're gonna see is next weekend. The drop off will tell us how this film will do.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
If this film at all holds its box office, maybe I'm wrong. But if it like
If it's
100,
so, it's at 230.
Mhm.
So 115. If it's
Yeah, if it's
anywhere north of 120, I think we're looking at 800.
that's fair. No, but I do that. But like, I'm thinking the inverse of like. But this one was good mouth, like word of mouth.
Yeah.
Think like when Batman vs Superman came out and it has the worst like drop basically ever, like week to week of films. Like we don't know until second week happens, kind of. We like, did the good word of mouth help this film make more money, or will more people go see it because of it's gonna become in question?
I mean, you are seeing online stuff of like, oh, Superman went woke. And it's like,
But like the domestic box office at least didn't show that mattered.
yeah. I think there's a lot of bitching online, and then people are like, oh, but it's Superman, I'll go watch it. When it comes down to it, the people that say, oh, well, I'm not going to see it because Superman's woke, weren't going to see it anyway.
Right.
So they just they need an excuse to not see the
You need an excuse to go scream why Zack Snyder should be running this for some.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I would like to open my Twitter for 5 minutes and not have my feed just full of people arguing of who should be running Superman. I'm just gonna say the thing. Like, so
At least that's your Twitter. My Twitter's like, I don't know what's going on with my algo. It's either OnlyFans girls advertising or it's just dumb bot shit. I will say, on my reels, getting the AI Sasquatch Outdoor Boys videos are hilarious.
we have very different rooms. I feel like.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Although mine right now are about traveling to Japan, since I'm.
That's right. Mine is not quite to that point yet. So.
Mine kind of rotates. It's either AI Sasquatch or it's Japan travel. So.
But yeah, if people don't catch that, go check out this film in theaters.
Yeah.
It's a great time. I stick with
I say
Superman
see it on the biggest
2025.
screen you can.
And I was going to say, I think it's probably one of the best superhero films in the last couple years, at least.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Marvel movie since.
There are very
the
few Marvel
second
movies the
one.
last couple years where I think, like, maybe or, like, people can argue. But, like from a DC point of view, you have to literally say the Batman's the only thing I can fight with
I guess, yeah.
in the last, like, decade.
But that didn't
Like-
come out. We watched that live on Screener because it came out on Max.
Right.
So I don't think
So, yeah.
we've done a Superman or a superhero
The
movie club.
The Suicide Squad. We did the James Gunn Suicide Squad. We watched it
Oh,
live.
that's right. Yeah. Did we?
Which
that
I
was
think
on
we both
Screener
liked it.
too. We watched that one.
Yeah.
That was a Max one. Yeah.
So, but yeah, go check out Superman, and we will be back soon with some more shows, some more streams, and all of the good stuff,
All the in-betweens.
all the in between. So go put on your
Could
tights,
have made
put on
that
your
rhyme
cape,
if you know.
planned it ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, put on your tights, put on your cape, then, and go save the world.
Put on your shit. Put on your cape. It might be a drape. Ooh. I don't want to use that that rhyming scheme because my brain just went down the wrong path.
And on that beautiful note,
Go see Superman.
we'll see you next time.